Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Creative Shock Podcast. I am your host, Limelight, and I'm here with Justin. Justin, who are you?
Yep. Hey guys, so my name's Justin. I go by Tien on the Discord. I'm a player from Australia, from Melbourne, so I've met Limelight here in person. I've played this game for I think about 6 months now. Uh, yeah, been playing quite a bit.
He beats me
I
up
do
all the
enjoy the
time.
game a lot.
He does beat me up all the time.
Yeah, maybe. I also get beat up a lot, so don't worry about that.
Only
But
when
yeah,
I'm on Arisana, that's
um,
the only time.
yeah. Okay, fair. The times you killed my dream fairies with Arisana is scary. I have no idea what she does. Yeah. Yeah. So I play from Melbourne. I got into GA pretty recently. Used to play Yu-Gi-Oh, but I find that GA is just it's I enjoy the game a lot more.
Mhm,
The best part about it is definitely the community though. Everyone's like very friendly, very yeah. They're just very like they're just nice people. I don't think I've ever met anyone who I just like don't want to talk to. Like
Knock
when
on knock on wood.
meet up to event.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, knock on wood. Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's not jinx that. Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
think we do have a good community. It isn't growing that fast at the moment, but that's okay. But I think the community is nice, and we do have passionate and committed people, which is good. Did you play
Yep.
a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh before you came over?
Um, I did play like for a couple of years actually. I think I played it for at least like 5 years. But
Mhm.
the thing about Yu-Gi-Oh is it's very competitive, and the community is so big that I didn't feel like I knew most people. So every time I went to an event, it would just be like I would just meet new people that it's hard to build like a good connection with them. So a lot of the
Yeah,
time I would just play with friends. I didn't join that many locals to be honest.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
and that's what I love about GA. It's just it's easy. It's like a tight knit community.
hmm
And
Was it?
also just anime. Like the artwork is amazing.
The artwork is very nice. I heard that
Yeah,
you are
yeah,
quite
that
close
definitely
with
helps me.
someone that does artwork for GA.
Yep. Yeah. So very close. My girlfriend is Choco. She's one of the well, actually, I think one of the very few community artists that based in Australia. She does a lot of fan art for the game.
She also makes good
She got
cakes, I've heard as well.
yeah, yeah. She's the one who did the if you've seen it, the was it the
Forest cake.
shortcake forest cake? Sorry, yeah, forest cake video. The one where the bird got baked in the Sylvie forest cake. That was funny. I
Did
just
you
remember her sending
did
me a
you get to
message and
taste
just
that
saying,
forest cake?
"No, no, sadly not."
Ah,
Yeah, yeah. It was I would have loved to though. It turned out really well. I think with how it turned out,
I think it did
visually,
look
of course,
pretty
I didn't
good.
try it, but yeah,
But no, she is one of the very few artists in Oceania or Australia, and I think that it's good to have people like that in every community. Otherwise, like some communities really just don't have, people to do fan art for them and stuff. It's a lot harder, and if you have to get it from America, then it can cost an arm and a leg. So,
yeah. Shipping down to here it's so much. It
hmm
hurts.
hmm
Yeah, and I think it's just
um,
good because then it gives focus to the game to
mm,
like a different part of it, not just the gameplay aspect and competitive, but
yeah,
like a game having a good casual kind of good support for casual people players is it makes the game and the community much better, and that's what Grand Archive has. So
hmm
I love
Going
it.
back to the Yu-Gi-Oh thing, was it hard going
Yep.
from Yu-Gi-Oh to Grand Archive?
No. I think if anything, I liked it a lot more because Yu-Gi-Oh is a very complex game. I feel like when I played Yu-Gi-Oh, I could barely understand my own deck, let alone
hmm
my opponent's deck, and I just never had time to figure anything out. But Grand Archive is a game where there is like complexity to it, but
hmm
it's not so complex to the point where, like, basically, I feel like I can learn my deck and learn my opponent's deck and learn matchups and all that. Like, it's a good sweet spot in the middle.
Yeah. Do you feel as though, as new sets are coming, it is getting more complicated, or will get more complicated, and can end up like Yu-Gi-Oh? Or
Definitely, it's gotten more higher up in the complexity because now that they've introduced Tristan and all the negation, there's a lot more negation in the game, which it does. I am honestly a little bit worried about where the game's going in terms of like it's good to have interaction and
hmm
more of it, but
hmm
especially with like card like Incapacitate, where it's just straight up
yeah,
your opponent's card is gone. Like it does worry me a bit where the game will be a lot more complex,
hmm hmm
and this is just the start, right? It's gonna
of
get
course,
worse moving forward.
of
So
course,
I'm a bit worried about that, but I think it's important for the game to do that.
hmm
Otherwise, it would be just like it'd be the same thing over
of
and
course.
over.
People will get sick of
Yeah,
the stay on meta. I think
yeah,
speaking of meta, like moving into, we just had Ascent Taipei. Was it last week? 2 weeks ago now? Last week?
yep,
I did a 12-hour watch party for both days, so I was exhausted. I did a
yeah.
long stream, which was very fun with Tyler and Poro. So I did get to see a fair few of the games. Were you surprised with any of the results at all?
I think in terms of surprise, yeah, definitely Tristan. I had a feeling she was very good,
Mm.
but before that there was no like competitive play of Tristan going like doing super well.
You
So
knew
that
we
was
were
very surprising to
we were
see.
testing out locals though. There was just nothing actually being
Yep.
played. So this is the thing. Like
Yeah.
Luxem Map Open was played 100 players or whatever, and
Yep.
no one played. No one. This sounds bad. No one good played Win-Tristan.
Mm.
So because of that, it was a scenario where it looked bad and Sylvie looked
Yep.
good. Because Sylvie's a
Yep.
much more linear deck. Sylvie, you can play the cards. Play the card says the card does the card. Where Tristan, it's very nuanced with windows and like weaving certain cards at certain times. I think that people were expecting Sylvie just to take out the whole event and just to pop off. So, but for the last 3 weeks, I was with Sean, Yap, Duck Hats. We've been playing Win Tristan and like versing these matchups. Sadly, poor Sean, undefeated day one. Woke up on the wrong side of bed day
Yep.
two. Went draw, loss. It is what it is.
Yep.
You know, that list is a very good list, but it can sometimes, if you don't see the card, then you don't see the card as TCGs are. Congrats, obviously, to True Champion. We have 2 True Champions in the top 8. That obviously shows that not only are they good players, but Tristan is a good deck. Lorraine with the gun, first place.
Yep. Yeah. I do love the tech with Lorraine with the gun. It's just, I don't know, it's just funny. It's like, no one, it's a champion that clearly uses the sword, but it's very funny to see, I feel like. And yeah, now that they have the new bullet as well, Wind Piercer, just does 4 damage every turn. It's funny that it works, honestly. Next thing I want to see though is Sylvie with a gun. Surely
Like,
someone can do it.
Thinking about, like, I'm thinking of it in a weird angle, like right now. Having the Wind Piercer and gun is like a pseudo Scepter level up.
Yeah, definitely is. But the side thing is you don't lose cards to level
You don't
up
lose
in the
anything.
process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just takes an extra turn to kind of start using it. But when you think about prototype gun has three durability, 12 damage. So I do see where the actual strength of it is. I like a lot of these decks are doing nothing turn 1 and turn 2. The meta has slowed down a lot weirdly. Like Tristan's bringing out backup charge at turn 2, bringing out Windwalker boots turn 3 or level 1. Like it's very slow, which gives these Wind allies a chance to set up something, which is ludicrous. I think that's not even necessary, but like the fact that you can get that much efficiency for damage, like that's a free 12 damage, right? Like if you don't need to materialize anything else, makes it very interesting. And like Wind Piercers have been going off the shelves now. Everyone wants to play Lorraine with the gun. So,
Yeah.
do you think it's okay? I guess the big question for you, as you are mainly a Wind Allies, Water Allies player, you play a lot of Allies.
Yep.
You've been very good on it, and you've competed a lot with it. So your experience and knowledge of Wind Allies is quite strong. Is this whole gun thing worth it, or is it just a funny meme that kind of made it this one time?
I think it's definitely worth it. I've spoken to a few people about it. They say it's like too slow, right? But as you mentioned, the meta has slowed down with Tristan. I think that comes back to the whole negation thing. Negation, especially on dungeon guides, the Stifling Trap and Eternal Magistrate, those two slowing down the meta, slowing down dungeon guides has slowed down the meta, and that gives each player more turns, more materializations, essentially. So these guns and bullets, I think that it's very viable. I mean, obviously MHL won the whole of Ascent Taipei with it, so it's definitely viable. But I think it's very good, just because you have more turns, so you have more time to make these guns and bullets, and then you just send 12 damage over 4 turns. It's like it's good. It's very good.
It's a lot of damage, and like not to mention, it's not just the face. You can kill an AC in, you can kill a blocker, kill whatever you need to with it, right?
Yeah, it's got that exact damage threshold that you need to kill an Azen or even like a Ghost of Pendragon or something. Anything with 4 health.
Did you watch? You watched the finals, right?
Yeah, I have seen the finals.
I feel like that last game, if there was no exhaustion, I think Caven should have taken it. He had so many fogs. I think they were both very tired.
Yeah,
It was crazy for MHL to pull it out, especially with like I think he used like 3 Veilings and an Innovate and a Resolute or something ridiculous.
yeah. I think Cayman, like he had like two two resolutes and then I think one last innovate. But it's weird because I'm not sure what happened at the end. The stream cut off. Did they ever release like the last part of the stream?
So, thank you for bringing it up. Shameless
Yeah.
plug. We streamed it on Creative Shock Day 2, and the full
Oh,
VOD is
yeah.
actually on Creative Shock. So if you want to see the end,
Okay.
come watch it.
Yeah.
That wasn't even intentional, by the way, guys. That was actually
Yeah,
unintentional.
that was straight up not intentional.
It
Yeah, I
is
missed
in
the
the
last
Creative
part.
Yeah, Creative Shock Live. So
Yeah.
pretty much what happened was Caven didn't pop his boots, and he's going to regret it for the rest of his life, because if he popped his boots, he would have got Shadow Strike, which would have won in the game.
Yeah.
And he kind of just ran out of gas to the point where he couldn't find the Shadow Strike, and he innovated, but there was a Crystal of Argus on the board, so he just stealthed, rallied, advanced, killed him through stealth with like a Crystal of Argus, Eye of Argus. Yeah, yeah.
Eye of Argus.
Eye of Argus. I think it was like Eye of Argus Andronica for 4 and 5 or something like that. So that was kind of what won him the game. But yeah, Caben had all the defense. He just couldn't find his Shadow Strikes, and like MHL had the board control. It was like too late for Caven to kind of deal with the board. He kind of just had to finish Lorraine off. I think Lorraine only had like 4 or 5 health left too, so it was like so tough to like not be able to finish off. But I think it does come down to exhaustion. Like they were jet lagged, not making excuses for true champion. MHL did amazingly, obviously, and it's good to see someone from the Southeast Asia region winning. It's a lot better whether I'm friends with Caven or not. It's still good to see that for people. So I think that it comes down to exhaustion. MHL played well, and yeah, now I'm selling out of Wind Piercers, so I'm happy. It's perfect.
Yep. Yeah, I do want to find one, test it out.
Yeah,
But
it's pretty
yeah,
crazy.
the prices of cards have gone up quite a bit.
It's actually
especially after
insane, the
people
prices
winning
of
with it.
cards. Like,
Yeah.
I'm bringing up TCG Player right now. I'm going to search backup charger.
Oh yeah. Yeah, backup charger's price is shooting up.
Do you want to guess what the backup charger price last sold on TCG Player?
I'm gonna have to guess. So last time I checked, it was 13 USD. I'm gonna have to guess it's like a solid 20.
It is 28 USD, 42
Oh
AUD.
my god.
For a rare.
Yep. That is ridiculous.
So if we look at
Because
Dungeon
the
Guide-
13 USD I was talking about was like, I think that was last week. So,
Yeah, so
in
that
1 week
doubled in
it's
value.
more than doubled. Yeah.
Yeah, so backup charger is actually $5 under Dungeon Guide. So Dungeon Guide obviously is a must-have everyone's buying as well.
Yep.
These cards are both sold out. They're both 30 USD plus pretty much. Elusive puts them up and they sell out instantly. So it's pretty crazy to think about. This is also due to Regalia being heavily short printed. This set, like heavily short printed. What is your thoughts on, like, this is a good question. What's your thoughts on Regalia short print? Is it good or is it bad? Because people were complaining that it was good because they were sick of getting 100 of the same Regalia, but is this now too far and people just can't get in or buy the cards?
Yeah. So my thoughts on it, as like I'm a player who personally I don't buy many cases. Sorry, I buy singles for the most part. So in other words, I don't spend too much money on cards. But I personally am not a big fan, just because it means that the prices of like staple regalias, like backup charger, becomes ridiculously high like this, and yeah, like I've spoken to a lot of like other players who want to get into the game, and the thing they commonly tell me is just the like they don't want to get into cards because it's expensive at times. It's very expensive compared to say, half a year ago where you could get an entire deck maybe for 150 bucks. Yeah. Now we're looking at easily 400 AUD for a deck, a competitive deck, and yeah, I mean prices of just all cards in general have shot up because the game's growing, but the supply of cards isn't going up as much as it, like proportional to the player base growing.
As an actual number example, there is 4,611 backup charges printed. If we compare that to a normal rare, Lost in Thought, there is 18,000 Lost in Thoughts printed.
Yep, is that?
So
it's about 4 times.
3.5 to 4 times. So it's literally 25% less short print, even more than that. So, and then weirdly enough, if you go over to SRs, you go to like Shadow Reaver, Tristan Shadow Reaver, 1,600 Shadow Reaver SRs, for. So she's also another one that's gone up to about $80 now. So if we go and look at the comparison for a normal super rare, give me 1 second. There we go. That one. So if we compare that to, let's say, Naya, there is 7,000 Nayas compared to 1,600 Shadow Reavers.
Yeah, so the numbers just...
So it's like 4x.
It's just hard to get cards, I think, right at the moment.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot of the MRC cards, the prices are like over the top compared to what people are willing to spend.
Now my thought process is like I'm a bit of a devil's advocate, so I'm a player obviously, but I also sell cards. I think that this is a good thing for the community because getting these cards, you then have more incentive to trade your doubles to get what you need, like Regalia for Regalia, etc. And this also incentivizes stores to get more stock because more stock's getting opened to get these cards as well. Because beforehand, you would open... Because like I used to open 2 cases and get full playset, and that's it, done. Pay my, $2,000, open it all, done, don't need to buy any more. I opened 3 cases this set, and I was missing a lot of stuff. I had to go open more boxes, I had to trade, I had to buy singles. I'm still missing 2 URs, like the Fragment Fire and Wind, which is bad for me, sure, but it's good for the stores, the single sellers, and the trading economy, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
I
guess
it's like
an argument to both sides.
It's like bad for the players wanting to get in, 100%, as it is in like Yu-Gi-Oh's like $1,000 deck apparently to get in or something ridiculous, right?
Yeah, that's part of the reason why I got out of that game.
Yeah. It's bad for new players to get in, but it's good for the players that are cracking stock as well.
Okay.
So it's like both sides, right?
I mean, I guess it makes sense. In order for like weebs to continue running the game, they need money. Stores need to buy from weebs. So yeah, it's both sides have an argument to it for sure.
So if you could go back to printing them 1 for 1, would you go back to printing Regalia 1 for 1? If you're the boss, you're weebs boss right now, Justin. You are the head, and this is what's happening. All these prices are shot up right now. You're seeing this. Your stock's sold out everywhere. What are you doing?
I think rather than changing the print runs, I think eventually reprints have to happen is what needs to happen.
Yeah.
Like, I think the print runs with the lower Regalia rates, it's okay because for Regalia you need only 1 of them and main deck stuff you need 4.
Of course.
That part's fine. But I do think that eventually the weebs should run like reruns, like more versions of Alta, say Alta MRC, Alta ALC. Not straight away, but... Which eventually they will have.
I think that is the plan, but I think that they've pretty much said like stock needs to sell out for them to venture there. Like if stock doesn't sell out, they won't do it. Like I'm pretty sure ALC is done, right? Like the only thing is going to be an altar at this point. I think that's it. Like because they've already moved on. Okay. They didn't sell out. I mean, this is just me guessing. I'm guessing that you can't go to MRC and then be like, oh hey guys, we're doing ALC altar now. Like it kind of confuses things. You know what I mean? So I think that like
unless there's like demand,
and there is demand right now, right? So like, I wonder what the plan is, and like even with DOA, like there's demand for DOA now. Are they gonna reprint that? Like, at what point does it stop?
Yeah, it's a tough call as like weebs right now to say like, do people need it to the point where it's like, well, I think from their perspective, they need to make money off it, so they have to ask like, will people buy it if they print a lot of it? Yeah, it's always a tough call, yeah.
So, obviously, we got some awesome reveals at Taipei. We did get the reveal of Mortal Ambition, AMB, which looks cool. It's got, like, the awesome, like, Three Kingdoms art. I love it. I'm a big fan.
Yep.
Moving on from, obviously, like, the printing problems, could that just be a set where there is dungeon guides in it, but, like, alt arts? Or is there, there's going to be... backup. There won't be a backup charger, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like they'll reprint the things that need to be in that set, but just different artwork in like that world.
I mean, yeah, I definitely think it's a possibility because, like you said, if they reprint only the cards that people are really like in demand for and don't reprint the entire set, that's another way to deal with the problem. Yeah. But I guess that poses another issue of like
people are like, what the hell is this?
New cards. Yeah. They should be printing new sets. Should become with new cards, right?
Yeah.
Maybe make a different guide, one that, is more competitive than, or at least on the equal level to Dungeon
Power
Guide.
Creep, well, it's better than Dungeon Guide?
Yeah,
level
maybe
up, 2 levels?
Power Creep, yeah. That's not the answer. Yeah, yeah. But I do think it'd be cool if they make a new guide to kind of compete with Dungeon Guide rather than just reprinting more Dungeon Guides. Because that's basically like them admitting, Dungeon Guide's so good we can't come up with anything to
Yeah.
match it or beat it. So
I do agree.
new cards.
I do agree.
Yeah.
We do. It's a very, as you said earlier, though. It's a very fine balancing beam that you go.
Yep.
You're power creeping everything. The game's ruined, or nothing's better than Dungeon Guide. I can't buy it. This game's shit. And you have to walk down this line like the whole time, trying not to power creep, but trying to make old things not impossible to get or too strong that it just breaks all the metas.
Yeah, I do think it's for sure. It's a very, very difficult task, and to be honest, I think Weebs, they've done an amazing job so far. Like the game feels very balanced for the most part. Like even in competitive tournaments, right? We have at least in top cut for Ascent Taipei, I think there's at least like 10, maybe more than 10 unique decks in the top 32, and that just comes to show that like Weebs has done an amazing job balancing the game. They've got a healthy balance between different decks, different champions, and even different elements.
So
although I guess now wind is better.
Top 32 breakdown: 14 fire, 12 wind, 4 water, rest in peace, and 2 slime spirits.
Yeah.
And you had
but I mean,
5
Xanders,
5 Tristans, 2 Tenoris, 4 Sylvie, 2 Rai, 4 Merlin, 5 Lorraine. Yeah. It's really nice.
Yeah, which sounds very healthy in the sense that just people are playing different things and they're working as well, which is the best part.
Yeah, I think it's a very nice.
Rest in peace, Arisana.
Rest in peace, Arisana. One day, right? One day, someone's going to commit the time to figure it out. The problem with Arisana isn't even that she's bad. I honestly don't think she's bad. I think that no one has the time or patience to waste a set practicing her for her not to maybe be good. I'm not going to take it to any big... Like, people keep saying in the Discord, they're like, oh, your Fire Arisana, like, I keep losing with it. The Fire Arisana is actually not bad. Like, you can get results. I get results at locals when I play it. They're like, oh, go to a big event then. But I don't want to waste my time on Arisana when I can just play Tristan or Diana and just guarantee do decent, you know what I mean? Instead of risking it with an Arisana deck. Like, it's just too dangerous, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's definitely a risk there. Because I think it'll take a long time for someone to perfect the deck to a level that's necessary to be competitive. Yeah,
I agree. I do want a quick shout out before we move on from Taipei. I also want to shout out Asnat. Asnat did get top 32. He's from Sydney. He is also another avid Wind Allies player. Justin, I don't know if you've met him before. I think you have met him before, probably at an event. I think you have at an event. He would have been at nationals and regionals and stuff.
What's his real?
Aaron, I'm gonna dox him. Aaron Galvin is his real name.
Yeah, actually, I have met
him. He's a magician. He's a magician. He does cool stuff with the cards. Anyway, he was playing automation Wind Allies with the Mecha Overlord, with the Manufacture Cell, Harvester Mark II, like all the stuff. And he got top 32 with it.
Yeah.
Like 3 rows.
I love his creativity.
Yeah, 3 rows, Sal Vanguards, Charge Mannequin, Critical Recovery, one of my favourite cards. Like, it's got the whole shebang. So, shout out to him for doing so well with that deck. It was definitely homemade, but he also hasn't left a wind deck for the last 45 years. So, that's how it works, right?
Yep. Well, why change what's already working?
Right, exactly right.
Not broken, don't fix it.
SB2 is coming out next month. July?
Very soon, yeah.
July. I
do think it's July, yeah.
Yeah. Is that, what are we thinking? Is that like a reprint arc for some of this stuff, or do you think they're not going to do it? Everyone's on the fence. Like, are they a reprint Dungeon Guard and Academy Guard, or are they not going to do it? Should we sell our Dungeon Guards? Should we not?
It is a very good question. Like, it's hard to say, because SP1 was, essentially they reprinted a bunch of different stuff with
Hurricane
different artwork.
Suite, Rending.
Yep. But, the question is, do you reprint Dungeon Guide, right? Everyone needs the card, but if you do reprint it, you know that the market's going to tank. A lot of people are going to be unhappy. A lot of people will be happy as well, of course. Don't get me wrong on that one. But it's a tough call. Very tough call.
I'm not a financial advisor, nor do I know market, so I'm not market manipulating. But as of today's recordings, Caven sold like 40 DGs in a post today.
Oh my. Yep.
At 25 USD each. Not to raise any alarm, but either he's just getting rid of some extra Dungeon Guides, or who knows, right? Something might be happening.
Yep. Yeah, he's making the call that Dungeon Guide will get reprinted, but who knows?
Don't forget, he sold all of his Crystal of Empowerment Quicksilver foils like a week before it was banned.
Yep. I mean, yeah, he's a good competitive player. He knows what's going on in the back. Yeah, he can guess.
Just assumptions,
Yep.
assumptions, obviously.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
I
don't sue us later if something goes wrong.
I do think that SP2 is a good option and chance for them to reprint stuff that's important though. Like I think they understand that people are allowed enough in the Discord and on Facebook that things need to be reprinted. There's things that people are in desperate need of and they can't get it.
Yep.
I think that they know that, right? And I think that Dungeon Guide is probably one that is a bit of a delicate situation because exactly what you said is right. If they reprint it, then everyone who has like their Dungeon Guides or paid $50 Dungeon Guide are going to feel burned because they've been now bought into a reprint. Or the other way can be the SP2 alt art just goes up to $50.
That is true, but I guess it depends how much SP2 you print.
Mm-hmm. And how hard it is to get the
alt
Dungeon Guide as well, right?
Yep. True, they can like short print it and then go with some of that. Yeah.
So hard to balance
There will
this
be
stuff.
people who want. It's hard to say. Yeah. Like I feel like a lot of people will say what they want and complain, but like they don't see the back end of what's going on in Weebs. Weebs is like I have to give them so much credit for what they've successfully done already. Yeah.
100%.
Like there's a lot of their work and a lot of things they think about. Players have no idea. So.
Do you go?
I have to give them credit.
Do you go Dungeon Guide as an SR and SP2 with a SIG?
With a SIG.
Dungeon Guide signature.
If they do that, yeah. If they do that, people will want it. People will buy it. Like
you get the SR
idea,
version. Like the SR alt art will be in there, and you'll get it once every 3 SP or whatever it is, right? It'll be hard to hit.
Yep.
And then there's a SIG Dungeon Guide in there as well. That would be hype.
Yeah, that would be so hype. Like people will buy out SP2 so hard, and I love that. Love that idea.
I wonder if
I do think if they reprint Dungeon Guide, they should have it like SR or something with low rates.
Does Academy Guide need a reprint?
Academy Guide is in a weird spot. I know that it's like somewhere around the 50 USD card for a card that isn't really played.
I never see it get played.
Yeah, it's only been played like by that one Windcrux Lorraine list that wasn't even played recently. So it's such a weird card where its price is ridiculous, but like no one's playing it competitively.
Yeah, it's like people are like preparing for it to be good, but then it never actually goes into play. Like it's pretty crazy to think about.
Yeah, I think people are kind of holding it as like an investment, low key. Like it'll shoot up when someone like at a later stage. So
it does play around stifling.
One,
I think everyone's got stifling in their deck, so Academy Guide is a good way to get around stifling. But then like it also just dies, right, as well. So
yeah. You need a lot of things to keep it like you need to keep it alive. You need to it's tough. I feel like.
So SP2 is coming next month. It will also be probably at PAX. I'm going to have it at PAX. So we've got PAX Australia or PAX Melbourne. It is on, funnily enough, PAX is on October 10th and 11th, or 11th and 12th. So it is like A and B release and PAX are the same weekend.
Yeah. So, which means we can probably do a launch event for A and B at PAX.
Yes, we can.
If anyone's around, come down.
That will be fun.
Come down, play our launch event.
I think we'll have 100% have a launch event. We'll have stock there. I think we'll have SP2. That'll be exciting. We can crack some SIG Dungeon Guides for our A and B decks, right? That'd be fun.
Pulling it out SIG Dungeon Guide in SP2.
Yeah. So more ambitions. We're getting 2 starter decks. We're getting Jin, who is a Wind Exia Warrior. And we're getting Kong Ming, who is a Water Terror Mage.
Yep. Yeah.
Now,
speaking of we got the new Exia element. What do you think? I guess what color will it be?
What is Exia?
What is Exia? We have no idea.
Because like Terra, I understand. Crux, maybe I didn't understand. No, Crux I don't understand. Is Spirit. What does Exia stand for?
I'm not sure. Like, because I'm not familiar with Three Kingdoms lore. I wonder if it's something in the lore of Three Kingdoms.
No idea. I'm guessing it's like something to do with swords. No, he's a spearman.
Yeah.
There's no way he can do with swords, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it's something to do. I'm gonna say it's something to do with summoning dragons. There we go. There's my punt.
Dragons, yeah, could work.
I think they're gonna pull like a Wuthering Waves, like spear dragon dude, and he just like when he attacks, he summons a 1/1 dragon or something cool like that. That's my thinking of it.
Yep. Yeah, I definitely think dragons could be a big theme up there.
What is Kong Ming gonna do?
Kong Ming, what a mage terror.
Mm.
I think it'd be cool if she has some kind of interaction with animals.
I don't think
Maybe
she
she like
will though.
no buff that because the thing is Sylvie went full on with the slime route, but then kind of abandoned. Like there was set up for her to be an animal-based champion, right? That kind of got. I wouldn't say abandoned. I shouldn't say that. But yeah, there's less. They went full slimes, so maybe Kongmin has something to do with animals, and I don't know.
Or I wonder if
Buffing,
it'll be
I guess
like
it's
I'm thinking it's gonna be a whole new Terra kit with like Earth Shard and like Rock Avalanche and Boulder Throw, and then I'm guessing like Terra Sight's a mage spell technically, but there's no way they like don't print like there's a whole set for 2 champions, and this is something that is very interesting to me. I'm stealing this from Lineage Break podcast. Love Lineage Break. Shout out to them. I listened to them, and this was something that they brought up, which is very smart. What if Lorraine, Rye, and Xander are in the A and B set 5, like in the main set?
So you're saying they release new cards for them?
Yes.
That would be fun.
or they re-release them.
Yeah.
Because
yeah, that'd be fun.
Something like the story goes into like champions that are going to try and save for the first time and ones that have already saved before. And there's no way there's 2 champions in a whole big set like this, right?
Yeah.
So like they're the starter decks because Lorraine, Ryan, Xander Lorraine and Rye already have starter decks.
Yep.
That's what Lineage Break said. And when Lineage Break said that, I was at work and I was eating my lunch, right? I'm like, bro, this sounds like it sounds like it makes sense to me. And I don't think that it's going to be good for everyone. Like the older players that aren't going to be like, why is there? As you said, we want new cards, right? But we just had an influx of new players. We have all these new people coming in. This is the time and set to be like, hey man, this is Lorraine in her Three Kingdoms outfit with a spear, and this is Rye. That's he's a fire terror. They're probably not going to change their advanced elements, but you understand what I'm trying to say, right? They're going to reintroduce them. So then you can still grab their stuff without having to buy a DOA.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned like an alternate outfit for each champion. I would love to see that.
But probably the same card, maybe the same card, but just different outfit.
Yeah, like an alternate art. Yeah, that would be awesome. Because I know like with the previous set, like Favorable Winds got an alternate art. So why not make it for champions as well?
Put Hurricane Sweep in the set. Put Savage Slash in the set. Put Crave Shock for Rye. Put Cremation. And it does sound like all of a sudden it becomes like a set that's got no new cards. But I think that's probably what you need to have these sets so new players can come in and get involved as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean I think limit the number of cards. Like the old cards are being reprinted in the set, and then
how much is too much?
It's definitely an idea up there.
30%.
How much is too much?
30% too much.
I mean, I'd probably limit to like 20 cards, which is I think about 10% of the set.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
But because you do want to still have new cards in the set, otherwise some of the old players will feel like they're just buying the same stuff and then they'll complain.
They just won't buy it at that point, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the interesting thought process about it, because I think that there's no way it's going to be like 300 new cards. Like they can't continue doing that. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I mean MRC was already, I think 290 in total if you include the recollections.
Yeah, and whether they those exclusive new cards you want are the ones that come from the starter deck, so they can put more in the main set of normal cards.
Yep.
So then you buy the 2 starter decks if you want new cards, and then the set 5 has a lot of reprinted cards that you then don't really you don't have to get, or you get some packs or a box or whatever, right?
Yep.
That could be an option. Who knows? Thoughts to think about. I think that, as I said, maybe 20, maybe you're right, 10 to 20, maybe 30. But I think that, the current game is in a good place. There is a lot of new blood on the Discord. There are new people turning up at locals. So I think that's very good for us as a whole. It seems like the population's maybe doubled. I think SCA's been popping off.
Oh yeah, SCA, every event that I see for SCA has well over 100 players. Even regionals, store champs, they have so many players because
that's insane.
It's crazy to think that literally the size of their regionals is like our entire OCE. That's.
I wonder if they knew SCA was popping off and they went to this Three Kingdoms arc, or whether it was already in production and it's just lucky, good timing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I have an idea that I would guess they were planning it beforehand. They probably had like a rough outline for where the story would go.
But yeah, with that, like, we do have obviously MRC, Store Champs, and Regionals coming up.
Yep.
We have a fair few. I think we have like 5 Store Champs and 3 Regionals in Australia. Oh no, sorry, 5 Store Champs in Melbourne and 3 Regionals in Australia, which is quite good for us. Are you going to be hitting all the Store Champs?
Maybe not this time. I think I'll do like half of them. But I did find that Store Champs, because there's like 2 every weekend, it gets exhausting after a while.
It does, yeah.
Found that by the end of it, yeah. I think you still have to have like work balance between Grand Archive and other things in life. So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's good that there's a lot of Store Champs for sure, but I don't think I'll be hitting up every single one like last time.
What's your are you going to be going to like more than one regional? Or are you going to go stick what's close to you, or?
As in, I'll go to the Melbourne one, and then I know Elusive also has the online regionals in end of July, around there.
Yep.
Yeah. I think I'll go to that one, play it.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it'd be cool to also just like compete with a bunch of the other players from other places, like New Zealand players. I'm sure there'll be a bunch of players from America, from maybe even Southeast Asia.
That's actually
that'd be fun.
That's a great.
It'd be fun to compete with everyone.
Yeah, that's actually a great thing to bring up. Because I wonder if let's get a live. I'm gonna live open up the. Let's just see how many people have signed up for that. Because I think last time I checked, it was like 80% Americans have signed up to the Elusive Regionals.
Yeah.
Which was pretty crazy to look at. Let's see what the update is now, if it lets me. So for the regional event, which I'm super excited. I don't get to run it. I don't get to play it, sadly, but I do get to run it, which is fun. We currently have 25 players signed up.
Yep. But I think by the end of it, I think a lot of people would sign up last minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always going to be people signing up.
There's a flag here I've never seen before in my entire life, so I'm going to have to go look up later what that flag is, because I don't even know.
Oh, no.
But there's a good mix of
good
mix of different people, which is exciting. I think people just want to play where they can. I did also try to make it where it is kind of able, Americans can play. It is I think it's 11 a.m. for us, 9 p.m. for them Friday night, so they can play and get involved still.
So they'd finish maybe after 5-6 rounds, maybe
2 a.m. Go to bed.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, that doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah.
I know a lot of the American events start at what is the equivalent of 2 a.m. for us. So by the time it's done, it's 9 a.m.
I did one of those, and I thought I could do it, and I did do it, and I played all the way till 8 a.m. But by 8 a.m., I was so grumpy and disheveled that I was so it would not have been fun to play at 8 a.m. After being up since 2 a.m. It was horrible. And
then your whole sleep schedule is just whack for the whole weekend. It just basically takes out your whole weekend, both days.
Yeah, pretty much. So credit to the guys who do go from Australia and do play those Yeti events, and the big Yeti events are kind of cool. Luxera's map open as well. Those events, pretty sure Yeti events are free now. So I do, shout out to Yeti for doing those events every week as well. They get I think they get 65 people a week on their locals. It's insane now.
Yeah, that turnout is amazing.
It's insane. It's very good for the community. In regards to, I guess, the competitive season, we are on the new season now. We do need to get our points back up to get top 100. Did you get top 100 or did you just miss it?
No, so I fell out. I was top 100 for a while and I missed out after Worlds. Worlds kind of, so many people jumped up. The whole thing got jumbled up at the very last minute. But it is what it is.
At the end of the day, and it's not even a hot take. I don't think it's a hot take. It is a little bit pay to win. The more bigger events you can go to, the better you can get in. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It is, I guess, at the same time, it's a reward for those people traveling as well. But then, you didn't really travel that much, and you still were top 100 for most of it because of your actual results. So, results do matter as well.
Results definitely matter. I think also just, the nationals, each national tournament it gives you a ridiculous amount of points. But, I agree with you. Players should be rewarded for traveling and playing more events. It's if a player only plays one big event, and they do well in it, another player who does well in 2 events should be higher ranked than them.
Course,
so it makes sense. It definitely makes sense.
So for you at nationals, you only just missed top card. I'm pretty sure you were in top 8, right? Top 16.
No, I came 9. So.
Oh, the bubble. Bubble boy.
Yeah. Well, for us to go to Worlds, it was top 4, so it wasn't super close to it. That's for sure.
Yeah. So what's your in regards to you, I guess getting because you've probably done some store champs now. You won a few store champs. You did well at regionals. You ninth place at Nats. What are some tips and things that you kind of do in the lead up to an event that can help people that want to get involved and be more competitive as well?
Yeah, okay. Well, I think the first thing is I'm the kind of player who like I'd like to stick to one deck for say a couple of months to kind of really like master the deck, and then I'll break it down into rather than just learning my deck, you have to learn how that deck functions against each meta deck. So I'll spend time focusing on one specific deck. Let's say like so on the time I was playing Water Allies, I literally just sat down, watched a bunch of VODs of people playing Merlin like against Water Allies, and then I just asked someone, a good Merlin player, to kind of play a couple of games with me, and then I'd figure out how to play against Merlin. And once I was done with that, I'd move on to the next deck. So a big one was Loxum Xander.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one as a Water player. And yeah, you just keep doing that. It's more, I would recommend not jumping decks at the last minute just because someone does well with it at an event. I think that's a big thing. I talk to a lot of people who say like, they're on the fence. They saw Matt G win with Erupting at Ascent Ontario, and then suddenly I saw like 50 people. They're like, yeah, bro, I'm gonna play Erupting. I'm gonna do really well. And I don't know. I didn't see many Erupting players like at the top tables.
I think Matt G
Yeah.
has played Erupting for a long time,
Yep,
and shout out to Matt for putting so much time in honing the deck. That deck,
definitely.
that deck is not a consistent deck, and I guess a lot of people that got jumped on that deck got burned because it isn't consistent. And if you can't pull off the windows that Matt G can pull off, then it doesn't perform.
Yeah. Yeah, I think my greatest tip for people is just play what you know and don't like jump around at the last second because skill is obviously a massive factor. Just because the deck's good, it doesn't mean that
You're
like
good.
everyone can play it well. Well, no, 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 no.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I didn't say that. I didn't
That's
say
what I'm
that.
saying, though.
Yep. I don't want to get bashed for saying something like that.
I mean,
Right, you get-
like I'll double down. Like you're being obviously very nice. I'll double down on it, right? Like I wanted to play Winteriston, and now I can't play Winteriston because a lot of people are going to jump on Winteriston. But the people jumping on Winteriston aren't going to realize how hard it is and how much of a skill roof it has, and they're going to fail on it, and they're going to be like, "This deck's shit," and they're going to get upset. And it's exactly what you said. I never net deck a deck ever. I never have. I never will. Even in all other card games. I believe that the most important part of a card game is understanding your deck completely, including the foundations of the deck, your goal and where you're trying to achieve, and your finishing results, what you're trying to finish off with the deck. If you don't understand these three layers, then you're not going to do well with the deck, unless you high roll. Obviously, you can high roll or you can play a linear deck. But like if I do not build the deck, I then cannot understand the deck as much as the person that did build the deck. And don't get me wrong, like Gaz back in the day, he made a Fire and Soul deck called Rumble in the Jungle, I think it was called, and he had the most like pristine filter, cremation, creative, hasty foundation for a fire deck anyone's ever seen. Like you had the perfect amount of float, the perfect amount of filter. So like I don't obviously copy the whole deck, but I then take that fire foundation, I take that 16 float, I take the 4 hasty, 4 creative, 3 cremation, whatever, right? And then I can take that as like a building block and go, okay, goes in my Diana deck. Literally the start of my deck. And people don't see decks like that at all.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, I definitely think like when you say don't net deck, it's 100% true. But I think if you're trying to learn a new deck, it's good to start by like trying out someone else's deck list. But then also you have to adapt and kind of fit it to your personal playstyle of the deck. But yeah, definitely just taking a deck list and thinking it's going to be good, like as is, not putting. You have to put in the time to practice it is another thing as well. But yeah, definitely practice on the deck and also adapting it to your own playstyle is important always.
and my go-to, and like no disrespect to Wind Allies players like yourself, but Wind Allies is a good deck. I always say for new players to get on Wind Allies because Wind Allies teaches you the fundamentals of value trading, the fundamentals of when to go face and when not to go face and fight for the board. And that is like a stepping stone from you being a Wind Allies player. You might turn into an Allies player forever, unlucky you're stuck, or you might actually then learn the fundamentals and go into something like a late game deck, etc.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think Wind Allies is a very beginner friendly deck. It's kind of, you don't have like a lot of interaction in that. Well, actually, now
You
you do,
do,
but
yeah.
it's more like at a base level, you're the one who's doing all the proactive plays, and your
You're the
opponent has
driver's
to
seat.
respond
You're
to
in the
you.
driver's seat.
Yeah, you're in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
Yeah, you make guys, you buff them, and then you just smack everything in front of you. Like it's a deck that can be explained simply enough to that new players can pick it up.
Yeah.
Like quite quickly.
Which is annoying because then
Yeah.
all of a sudden you've got a locals with like 5 Wind Allies players, and then you're trying to play
Well-
your like level 3 deck, and you just get beat in all over and over again.
Yeah, you try to play Sylvie, and all your allies are just dead. You have no way to draw off your level 2. Like, yeah, it is what it is.
So
Yeah, I don't, yeah.
have you played any Wintristan so far?
I have actually been looking into Wintristan.
Would you say that
I've
it's
gone through the whole.
would you say that it's a deck that players should pick up, or do you think it's also like it's probably a hard deck to pick up?
Like, I would say both in the sense that, like, Tristan, I think that what gets people into it is the artwork. 100%, it is the most beautiful deck. Like, it is an amazing looking deck.
Yes.
But yeah, I do agree with the fact that it's hard. I wouldn't say don't get into it. What I would say is if you're going to get into it, just know that it's a hard deck and you're probably going to have to stick it out, lose a couple of games. But at the end of the day, your deck's not Arisana. Your deck will work.
Yeah, it does. It does have a goal. It has an option, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I do have to put out there. I fully respect anyone who wants to put up with the pain of testing Arisana. All the power to you, man. Like, I respect the pain that you go through.
Look, not gonna lie, there's one of the locals from Box Hill. I think he's your friend's friend. I can't remember his name, but he plays Water Arisana. He plays Water Arisana, and he's been playing in the Discord. And he's been playing every day, and his games take 2 hours. And he plays with his little cat across the field. And now every time he presses looking for game, I get like flashbacks of the Water Arisana, and then I just don't. I'm just like, nah, I'll be right, because I don't want to verse Water Arisana because it's like you're never really going to beat it, right? But you're gonna waste like an hour and a half of your time, and it's like, do you really want to waste that time, or do you want to go play like Agrazander and have a 5-minute game, and move on? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy to think about.
Someone's gonna play with him so
Right?
he can make Arisana good, right?
Right?
Someone has to make Arisana good.
Imagine that's the play. You just play Water Arisana, play best of one, and like people just tilt out and just lose their best of one.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the play.
It probably is the play, yeah.
Play like Fatal
Probably.
Timepiece, so whenever they don't materialize, they take 2 damage, and you just slowly burn them out. That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, that's Arisana's win con. Just go 1-0 and then stall the game. Like,
Yes.
sideboard in 4 peaceful reunions, 4
Hide and bush,
everything.
4 hide and
even
bush, 4
incapacitate.
peaceful reunions, 4
Yeah,
banish from sides,
resolute.
4 resolutes, 4 shroud and mist. Like that's it. You've got everything.
Yeah.
So other than obviously store champs and regionals, etc., what is your next big event? Where are people going to see you next?
For me, it's Ascent Singapore. I've already got the flights booked. I've got the tickets booked.
And is this your first? This
yeah,
is your first
definitely.
international event.
It will be, yeah. I've never flown
Ooh.
for any event, any card game TCG event, and yeah, so this will be my first one. It'll be interesting to see.
Are you excited?
Yeah. Oh, for sure, 100%. I think the one thing I'm most excited about will just be seeing people from the community, seeing people from overseas, especially because I haven't had a chance to meet all of the people.
Anyone in
spoken
particular
with.
you're excited to meet? Shout them out.
Yeah, I think definitely Alec. I've
Yeah.
spoken with him a bit over Discord. Alec he's just a fun guy, I think.
He is a
And
vibe.
he's very positive, very open. Yeah.
Yes.
I think I do want to meet in person for sure.
Do you think that the timing of the event, like, it's right near the end of the actual set and season? Do you think that that will stale at all, or do you think that it'll still be exciting, even though we'll know by then, hopefully, what the best class is, or best champion is?
Yep. I think with that, I'd have to compare it to Worlds, where it was kind of at the end of ALC, right? By the end of it, it's possible that the set's been a bit stale, it's been a bit long, and all the regionals and store champs have been played, but I think it'll still be fun to watch for sure. As long as I think it depends on the timing with the set leaks for AMB. If they leak the stuff for AMB after Ascent Singapore, then it'll be fine. If they do it before, though, then everyone will be like, "Oh, I want to play AMB." It's like I don't even want to watch Ascent Singapore.
Singapore is what, 2 weeks before AMB, right?
Yeah. So as long as they start leaking after
And I
Singapore,
think they said they want to
it'll be
start
fine.
doing the last 2 weeks from now on. So I wonder if like they will just be like, "Hey guys," or you know, it'd be exciting if they do another thing where like they have a wall where they show the spoilers or something at the actual event.
Oh yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah, yeah. If they start doing that every event, people will be
That
like
was
keen
so
to watch
cool
it.
at
Yeah,
Worlds. Like
that was
we
very
could go
good.
over to this, we went over to this wall of cards, and it's just information overload. There's just like 60 cards that you've never seen before. You're like trying to read
Yeah.
them, but like everyone's trying to read them, so like you like getting pushed like trying to. Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was a very cool way to do the leaks, and like obviously I wasn't there, I was watching from home, but
Mm.
like I would just see in the group chats just people like posting new photos, and like I was just excited for each new photo, and it was awesome.
Mhm.
So even as a viewer from home, yeah, it's a very hype experience.
Yeah. And I heard you're taking your domain deck that you played on Training Grounds, right?
Oh yeah.
Is that what I heard?
Well, I'm thinking about that deck. It needs a bit more cooking, but I'm thinking, yeah, I might rock up with my Fire Arisana as well.
Fire
Rock up
Asana,
with it for
let's
a bit,
go.
yeah.
Let's go. That'd be
Yeah.
awesome. Imagine you win an event with
Yeah.
that. That would be so much fun.
Yeah, I want someone to win an event with Arisana so they can just like put everything I've said in the dirt.
Hey man, we got Lorraine with the gun before we got Arisana, so let's
Yep.
maybe
I might play Lorraine with the gun too. Yeah.
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 Awesome. All right,
Yes.
well, thank you so much, Justin, for being on the podcast. Hopefully, we can see you around more with different videos. And yeah, it was a joy talking to you about all this stuff.
Yeah. No worries. Thanks for having me on.